watch and burn.
Hey everybody. So tonight I'm going to be discussing Jello Biafra's fourth spoken word album from 1993, and that is Beyond the Valley of the Gift Police. Now I'm wondering if I'm too dark. Kind of like how dark it looks, but at the same time, maybe I'm too dark now. I'm not sure. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to leave it. So anyways, yeah, I mean, these things are difficult to talk about because this is 3 discs and it's like 3 hours. And if I was to give a more comprehensive discussion or a review of this, I would be talking about it for at least an hour. And I don't really think anybody should be subjected to that. So the reason that I wanted to talk about it mainly was because first off, I had to pay those awful HMV prices for this. Now, of course, this again was 3 discs, so you know, I can't remember how much it was, but this was $35 to $45. The cool thing was I knew that at least this time I was getting 3 CDs, and when you're like 15, 16 years old, the more CDs sometimes sort of equates a better chance at finding a higher standard of quality, which I know is kind of brain dead, because that's not in any way true. But nevertheless, I was cool with paying more for this because I knew there was an increased amount of CDage. And the coolest part was the booklet that came with it was absolutely amazing. Him and Winston Smith, like always, they outdid themselves as far as the artwork is concerned. But it also came with a chick track. A chick track, for anybody that doesn't know, are these little Christian comic books that used to be everywhere when I was a kid. I used to find them whenever I went to Toronto. They always used to be at every payphone. And they're just little comics. I can't remember the name of the guy. His last name was Trick Track. And I think his name was like John, his first name. It doesn't matter. He was the guy responsible for creating these. And like I said, they're little Christian comic books. They're saying why you're going to go to hell or why you're not going to go to hell. And a lot of like alarmist religious nonsense going on there. Like if you don't get the mark of the beast in the New World Order, you won't be able to buy food if you don't have the 666 on your forehead or on your hand or something. It's a lot of scary shit about if you disobey your parents, how you're going to go to hell. And if you get an abortion, you're doomed and blah, blah, blah and all that shit. So that was thrown in as well, which I absolutely loved because, of course, by this point I was really into the Kennedys and I knew how much absolute disgust Jello Biafra felt for the religious right. So I thought it was really tongue-in-cheek and really comedically ironic that Jello Biafra chose to toss a chick track, in with each of these, or at least with Beyond the Valley of the Gift Police, because I have the ones I have are No More Cocoons, The High Priest of Harmful Matter, Become the Media, and this one, Beyond the Valley of the Gift Police. And this is the only one that I bought that came with a chick track. And that is because so much of the information on here, although it is incredibly dated, so much is about the religious right at the time. He also, part of this one, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's on here at least. Now I can't remember if it's on here or if it's on another one of his spoken word. I think it's on here where he goes through Tipper Gore's book, Raising PG Kids in an X-Rated Society. I've already done a video about that. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. If not, and you're watching it at this point and I haven't put it in the description and you want to see it, just put it in the comments and I'll be like, oh damn, I'm so sorry, and I'll put up the link then. Her book is brilliant. She blames everybody from Run DMC to Public Enemy to, of course, Motley Crue and Slayer and Metallica for poisoning kids' mind with their evil rock garbage. And Biafra goes through that because he was on the Tipper Gore show with her. And I mean, he was on the Tipper Gore show. He was on the Oprah Winfrey show with Tipper Gore, and Tipper Gore actually signed his copy of her book. And like, so on here, he talks a lot about Blockbuster and how at this point in the 90s, Blockbuster had so much power that they were able to have giant movie studios sort of preview their movies for Blockbuster and allow Blockbuster to make censorship changes in order to decide if whether or not the movies were going to be rented in Blockbuster stores. So whereas that's really interesting to hear about, in 2024, Blockbuster's a distant memory. So that's the main issue with all of Jello Biafra's spoken word albums, is given that they are so, politically speaking, they're so timely for the time that they were released, and now that so much time has passed, it makes these records sort of obsolete. But I still find them really fun because I love Jello Biafra. I don't always necessarily agree with everything Jello says, but I love the man and I love hearing him. I love hearing him talk. And I know that he's really good at identifying the problem. He's always excelled at that. It's just that, like everybody else, he sort of ends up spinning his wheels when it comes to actually providing some sort of realistic solution. But it's still fun. It's just the information is really dated. And in 2024, unfortunately, a lot of this doesn't really have a place anymore because all the religious right shit is all come and gone. Nobody gives a fuck about them anymore. The moral majority was a thing that happened in the 80s. And they called themselves the moral majority, but the truth was they were the moral minority. They just had all the money. All of the corporate heads and that were all shilling for the religious right. They were all religious themselves, so they would do whatever, like Jerry Falwell and Jimmy Swaggart and the like wanted done. These giant corporations would bow down to them because the heads of the corporations, like I said, they were all religiously inclined and always giving money to Falwell and the rest of them and all of their businesses and their ministries and everything else. So it felt like they had a lot of power. And so it felt like in a lot of ways maybe they were the majority, but they really weren't. They were just rich. So, like I said, this is fun, but as of today, you're mostly just listening to this for the nostalgia factor because most of the information is just done. It's over with. It's all dead and gone. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for just about 6.5 minutes while I discuss Jello Biafra's fourth spoken word album from 1993, and that is Beyond the Valley of the Gift Police. Like always, if you like this review or you love this record, don't forget to go out and do something nice for somebody. But like always, most importantly, please never forget that the world is a way better place because you are in it. I'm getting out of here because I'm legitimately starting to die out here because it's like 30 degrees. Have a good night.